What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gooner channel, a channel 100% dedicated to the Arsenal, who, as we all know, are by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. And Manchester City and Liverpool played out a 1-1 draw, which meant that travelling to Brentford in the late kickoff, if Arsenal were able to get a win, we would go top of the league. But that's no mean feat, and Brentford are certainly no pushovers at home. Many a top side has gone there and failed to get a win. So I was a little bit anxious, but when I saw the team line up, Arteta going for a very attack-minded, certainly with a view to breaking down that low block, Martin Odegaard returned after concussion, Trossard taking the place of Kai Havertz in the midfield left 8 position, Gabby Jesus up front starting, and Martinelli and Saka supporting. If we were going to have any chance of scoring, it was surely going to come from one of those creative-minded players. He played Zinchenko as a left-back to invert, and his creativity to add to those players. I thought he did the best job he could of picking a team. Now, the other thing to talk about in this game is the obvious fact that Raya couldn't play, and so Ramsdale came in. And the narrative this season has been about the fact that Arteta has ruined Ramsdale's confidence by bringing Raya in. And everybody, in fact, the cameras deliberately picked out Raya, even though he wasn't in the match day squad, sitting in the stands, just so they could go to him if Ramsdale did anything silly. And he did. He had a couple of wobbles. We can't take away from that. But I want to draw everybody's attention to the fact that if you watch the Manchester City-Liverpool game, Alisson, one of the undisputed best goalkeepers in our league, also gave the ball away 3 times. These are the things that happen. It's just that when it happens to Ramsdale, it's a massive news story. The other big stories this season are that we're just not clicking. And in fairness, Brentford made it very hard for us. And we did look like we lacked a little bit of that attacking guile that we showed last season when we were surprise package. And when we were top this time last year, it was the elephant in the tree. No one knew how we got there, but they knew it wasn't going to last. And it kind of didn't, but it almost did. And this season, we don't look anything like as sharp up front as we did then. Gabby Jesus starting, he played a full 96, 97 minutes for Brazil in the game against Argentina, which was just a kick fest and never really got going as a competition. But afterwards, he was interviewed and he said that scoring isn't really a big part of his game and he wishes it was. So, of course, this adds to the narrative that we lack the firepower up front. But what I want to draw everyone's attention to is the fact that we are not that far off the goals we scored last season, but where we have dramatically improved is in defence. We have conceded 10 goals this season after 13 games. We're on track to concede 30 goals in a season if you extrapolate our defensive record there. And today we saw why. And that defensive record comes from a commitment, a team commitment. And today we saw ample evidence of that. It wasn't a faultless performance. Saliba gave the ball away at one point and Gabriel came in and looked after it. We had a clearance off the line from Declan Rice and later on an almost even better one from Zinchenko. This is a never say die attitude that we didn't seem to have this last season. We have kind of sacrificed some of our attacking flair and we have instead gained a resolute defensiveness which makes us really difficult to score against. Now, the bigger story, though, perhaps, and this game sort of summed up a lot of the issues that people think we have at Arsenal. I actually posted in a Facebook group, is this the game where Kai Havertz comes on and finally does it? And it seemed like throughout the whole match, there were crosses coming into that far post and just no one there to score it. We did score just before half-time, but because it was a millimetre offside, it was ruled out. And that's fair enough. You can't argue with that. But as the game wore on and we seemed increasingly as though we were passing it between us without any real incision, it was that one ball from Saka where finally Kai Havertz on the pitch made his way to the back post and stooped to head it in. And it was an exultant last gasp winner that put us top of the table. And I think we justifiably belong there. So what does this mean? What does all of this mean for Arsenal fans? We can carry on listening to people tell us we don't have an attack that's good enough. We're top of the table. We can carry on having them tell us that £65 million for Kai Havertz is a waste of money. But I tell you what if we win the league by one clear point? And how much is that goal worth? How much was his calmness and coolness and his intelligence to make his way to that back post? He said in the post-match interview, they do that a lot in training. He said Saka and Martinelli love to put those crosses in. He had the intelligence to read it and be in space. We have Declan Rice we added from last season. For many people, man of the match in this game. Personally, I'd have given it to Zinchenko. I'm going to do a proper examination of this game. I can't wait to watch it all again. It's going to be it was a bit of a boring game in fairness. But for games like this, don't matter as much as the results. Champions win leagues based on grinding out results. 1-0 to the Arsenal. That's the scoreline that we came away with. That's our scoreline. And that scoreline tells you everything you need to know. People are still going to say that the Ramsdale-Raya situation is a mistake by Arteta. People are still going to claim that Kai Havertz hasn't lived up to the billing. People are going to say that Gabby Jesus doesn't score enough goals up front. All of this may or may not be true, but let them say this, because this is a fact. We are top of the league. Yes, we are top of the league. Tottenham play tomorrow against Aston Villa with a side that basically is so depleted with injury, they probably need a team bicycle instead of a team bus. I have a feeling that we're going to see them lose that game and next week's game against Manchester City as well to drop out of the top four, and then they can shut up for another season or another 20 years probably. Arsenal are top of the league because we fight to the very end, because we do not give up silly goals, and because we perform as a team for each other. Tomiyasu came in today and was outstanding. I'm absolutely thrilled. I'm thrilled we won the game because it looked a little bit like it was going to be a 0-0. And then the story would have been, we bottled a chance to take the lead. Well, we haven't. We deserve a huge amount of credit. Mikel Arteta deserves a huge amount of credit. The way he has this team fighting for each other, the way he has his team believing in each other. And let us not forget, this was his 200th game in charge, and he has a better win rate in those 200 games than Arsene Wenger did. It worked out all right for Arsene. I'm thrilled with the fact that we won. I do still think there is a conversation to be had around whether we're clicking and gelling and why that is, and how we break down teams with a low block who's set up to stop us. There are going to be lots more difficult games coming up. We, in fact, have Wolves next, followed by Luton, and then Aston Villa. And there are tough games yet to be played. Anfield's still coming up. We still have to go to City. We still have to go to, I don't know what Tottenham Stadium's called. It's the go-kart arena one. You know the one I mean. But tonight, we are top of the league. Yes, we are top of the league. And we're top of the league thanks to Arteta and the team he put out there playing to the very end and beating a very good, very resolute, very well-marshalled Thomas Frank Brentford, who are going to turn over some teams. So I salute you, Arteta, and let's just enjoy it and celebrate. And look forward to tomorrow's games when Man United travel to Everton and Tottenham host Aston Villa. Could be a very good weekend indeed. We have the European game coming up midweek. It's all good. It's all rosy. Love to hear your thoughts. Who was your man of the match? Do you agree with me that Zinchenko is man of the match, or are you saying Declan Rice? Or maybe you give it to Kai Havertz. After all, he did win us the game. How are you feeling about this side? Do you believe that we can win the league? I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what the hell are you waiting for? Come on! Don't leave it as late as Kai Havertz. Smash a like until I see you again. Be lucky. Lots of love.